Welcome to Small Arm Solutions. Today we're looking at a very, very interesting product. This is the Riflespeed fully adjustable gas system. Now, all AR systems are having fully adjustable gas systems. You'll see them in many different types. You'll see ones where they're just little Allen keys. Some actually have detents in them, but all of them are not necessarily what you would call user-friendly. Because for the most part, what's going to happen is you're going to adjust it for unsuppressed. You're going to get the rifle gassed perfectly. Then you're going to put a can on it, and then when you have to really readjust it for the can. So there's a significant amount of adjustment that's going to go with the can to decrease your gas because of how much the can increases back pressure. So you're messing with it until you get it right, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, but you never know what your actual setting is. Now again, traditionally, you're going to have just a standard set screw. And then the one that I had that was my favorite was by Odin Gunworks, as we see right here. Now, the Odin Gunworks was my favorite because of the fact that it actually had detents. So you could somewhat count, and hopefully you could remember. So basically, you take your Allen key, you stick your Allen key in there, and you would do your clicks left and right. Now, again, this was better than the traditional ones where you had just a screw, because again, that screw you're just manually doing it until you get your final adjustment. Well, what came out with Riflespeed was a fully adjustable gas valve, where what you have is fully adjustable by hand. You have 12 settings. And it's also done by hand. So being fully adjustable by hand, you have numbers. So I know, okay, if I'm suppressed, I'm on setting 1. If I'm on unsuppressed, I'm on setting 8. So I can, by just memorizing those two numbers, I know. And I can also shut the gas off if I so choose. These are the things that make this thing most special, is the fact that you can fully adjust it without having to use any tools and having the numbers so you know what's there. Now, it was introduced at the SHOT Show 1222. It certainly made its appearance prior to that. I've been messing around with this for probably about, I'd say 6 or 7 months that we've had this one, and I've done a few things with it. Of course, due to YouTube rules, I can't show you how the assembly works, but we assemble these on a few different rifles. This particular upper receiver here came from Riflespeed. They do offer them in full upper receivers as well. Now, looking at the upper receiver that came from Riflespeed with it already assembled, we have the adjustment lever right here, this adjustment knob. Now, these come in different lengths, as we can see. Now, why is this? Because depending on your handguard is the length that you would need. So, for instance, you have a mid-length gas system with a mid-length handguard, you're going to need your standard knob. Well, say you're going to be having a longer handguard that's going to extend over further the gas block, you're going to need a longer one. So as we see, we have these adjustable gas systems, but we also have these longer knobs. Now again, due to the fact this is a 11.5-inch barrel, we have a carbine length gas system on here, but we have a longer handguard. So being the fact that the gas block sits back here further, we needed to have the longer adjustment knob. Again, 12 positions. Now, when we go over to something even bigger, we have here on this 308, we have a carbine length gas system with a 9-inch handguard. So we had to put the longer one on here as well. The adjustable gas system comes in different diameter for barrels, such as 750, 875, and 625. So you have 3 different barrel diameters that these will work on. Of course, speaking of 308, this is the 875. So although you can buy these as a full assembly, you also can assemble them yourselves. Again, due to YouTube regulations, we can't show you building anything, but what we can show you is the parts. Again, by having the adjustable gas system, it will come whichever way you choose. You will see that on the web page, you will see a chart which will give you the gas tube length versus the length of your handguard. It'll tell you which one of the knobs you'll have to have, the adjustable valves. So basically we rotate to get to 12. Then we push inward and we take the system right apart. Now as we pull the system apart, you can see right here the pin. This pin is what your adjustment is. Now these pins can get eroded, so you can get other pins, but this is what actually is cutting your gas off all the way. Is the further you push this in, the further restriction you have on your gas. So then you also have your spring. So now say we're going to be going with something that's longer. We would just take that particular one. As you can see, we have the notches on the outside of the knob here, adjustment knob. Push in slightly. And now we will automatically index to 12. As we can see right here, it'll always index at 12. So as we see here, we have an SBR. This is a 12.5-inch barrel. This one here does have a carbine length gas system on it with a longer handguard, Geisley handguard. As you can see, we do use the extended. And the suppressor that we're using is the GSL multi-caliber. So this one will be both 5.56 and 308. So we're going to take this from the range and we're going to take a look and see how it works. What we're going to do now is we're going to start tuning the gas system with the Riflespeed gas system. We see we are in setting 1. Setting 1 is what I expect. It's only going to give me one shot. It's going to pretty much close off the gas port. So we're just going to give that a try. Well, setting 1 actually gave us some ejection. But we'll see, it didn't go back far enough to pick up the next cartridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to, we'll go up to 3 right now. As we can see now, the bolt did not go back far enough. It went back far enough, but not enough to really have enough energy to push it forward. So what we're going to do, forward. Now we're going to take this up to 6. We still didn't go back far enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to go now up to 8. See, so now we have enough that it's going to extract and eject properly. As you can see, we're right around 3 o'clock where we're supposed to be. So the beauty of having this system is right now with this particular ammunition, which happens to be PMC, 55 grain full metal jacket, this is gassed perfectly. It's just enough to extract and eject and do it reliably. And we're on setting 8. So we got up to 12 different settings. So for instance, if you were to have some of that shitty Wolf ammunition where you have very low port pressures, you'd be able to open it up to 9 or 10 or 11, where it's going to open a lot more gas in to make it operate with that lower powered ammunition. But with this particular ammunition, we are at a perfect rate right now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to suppressed. Now, because the suppressor is going to add additional back pressure, we're going to be backing the gas system back off, so we'll be able to operate it with the suppressor and have it run the same way it did unsuppressed. So we're going to keep in mind we had it on setting 8 for unsuppressed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our Silencer Co. 36M. Lock that down. So what I'm expecting to happen now is these cartridge cases, instead of going to 3 o'clock, I'm expecting to be around 1 or 2. So just what I said. So now we can start backing this off a little bit. So if we're going to go from 8 to 6. So we can take it down a little bit more. A little bit more. Take it down to 3. Try 2, but I think 3 is where it's going to need to be. Well, let's just try 1 just for the hell of it. So with this ammunition, I can shut it all the way down to 1, and it will cycle reliably. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a couple magazines through this, setting 1 suppressed. As we can see, it's perfectly reliable with the setting 1 with the suppressor on. Okay, as we saw from the range footage, you saw that there was a process to do your adjustments. So again, what you're going to do with the sound suppressor is you're going to put it on 1, and then you're going to put 1 round in your magazine, and you're going to fire, and you're going to keep adjusting until your bolt locks back on the last shot. So once we have that, we're going to back it off 1 more. So we're going to add a little bit more gas into it, just so it will work properly when it gets heated up. So you're going to go +1 or +2 once you get to that position. So as you saw from what we did, our position for suppressed was 1. It was not a total cutoff, but it was at 1, and it worked perfectly fine suppressed. But then when we went to the unsuppressed, we went up to position 8. As you can see, the amount of gas restriction we had to have with the suppressor at 1 versus the position 8 for the unsuppressed. Now, position 8 ran the rifle perfectly, perfectly reliable, everything, very low recoil. However, if this is to be used in the real world, we probably want to open that up a little bit more to give it a little bit more gas so it would work more in that the nasty environment. The thing about having these types of adjustments, it allows you, for whatever your condition is, to adjust that rifle. So, for instance, you're in cold weather, you adjust it to work in cold weather. You're gonna have a different position when you're working in hot weather. So this allows you fully adjustability. But with those numbers on there, those numbers are the game changer, because all you got to memorize is 2. You're using 1 type of ammunition. You know exactly what you're going to have for suppressed and unsuppressed to make the rifle work optimally. Now, are these things practical for everyday shooters? Now, for a range shooter or for somebody who is more professional, these work excellent. For more of the average grunt or your average person, they tend to work better with the 2-position valves where you have suppressed and unsuppressed. Again, this system here is much better if you know how to use it. You have to know how to use it and make sure that your weapon is it's adjusted for your particular environment and your particular ammunition. The nice thing about being in military environments or even in law enforcement environments, you're using 1 specific type of ammunition. So if you are, say, down here in Texas where we don't ever get cold weather, once we make an adjustment with this ammunition, we know exactly what 2 positions that we're going to have for suppressed and unsuppressed. And also, this one here had no problem with, as soon as I pulled the suppressor on and left it in position 8, it still cycled properly, but you could definitely tell by the ejection pattern that it was overgassed. So it will work, in 1 position, but again, for optimally, you were to take it and you were to put your adjustment down so the rifle's not working so hard. That's what suppressors do. They make these rifles overwork. They increase your back pressure, they increase your rate of fire, they increase your wear on parts. Depending on the suppressor that you use, you can get a lot more gas in the face. But the fully adjustable gas system, this is a game changer for as far as I'm concerned, because the ones that I've been using in the past did not have those numbers on them. So again, it was always a guess of where you were going to be or how many. Again, going with the Odin I like better because of the fact it did have the clicks, so I could tell myself, okay, X amount of clicks if I would remember that. But it's a whole lot easier to remember positions 1 and 8 than it is to go, okay, 8 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and have to go that route. This is a much more streamlined and much simpler operation. Now, for the cost of this is about $250. It's not much different than what you would get for like an Odin or anything along those lines. Now, when these are installed, we have 2 set screws. Now, the one barrel that I used was a Criterion barrel that had a dog nose on it, so it didn't really require any kind of pinning. The 308 that I have over here only had the set screws. Now, as you can see, we also have a hole in here, so we can do a drill and pinning on that, which again is something that I recommend. I do want to take a minute to talk about this 308 over here, because this 308 was this was a problem rifle to fire suppressed. We're going to be doing a separate video on this 308, but I've had this one for quite some time. Many years ago, I did a contract with Diamondback Firearms. I wrote some armor's manuals for them, and I wanted one of their rifles for my collection, so they were kind enough to give me this rifle after I did the contract. I wanted their basic 308, a basic lower end and expensive 308, and they were even so kind as to laser engrave small arm solutions on there, so that was pretty cool. Now, at the time I had it, I did not have any suppressors for it, so I would fire the thing and it fired reliably 100%. It was definitely overgassed, with a standard ammunition. So I had decided at one point, not too long ago, that I wanted to try it suppressed. So I put the muzzle device on for the GSL suppressor, took it out, and wow, did I have problems. It was so overgassed that I was having significant failures. So taking a look at the buffer tube, that was the first thing I changed out to try to see if that would help this system at all. And this was a standard commercial M4 type buffer that had the shorter buffer in it, which you don't have the weight, you don't have the mass. The bolt carrier was bouncing significantly. So I changed this out with a standard one from AR-10 where I could use a standard M4 buffer, and I stuck an H3 in there. Well, putting the H3 in there, it improved significantly the performance. However, the reliability was just not there because this gas port is just so wide on this thing. So if this is the same point, I got a couple of these to review. I called and I said, hey, I got this problem. I want to try it out on this rifle. So we put the adjustable gas system on here. And taking this one out to the range, as you can see from the footage, this took care of my problem. Looking at the Riflespeed gas system on this severely overgassed Diamondback rifle, we're going to be starting off on the setting 1 with the suppressor on, and what we're going to do is we're going to continue opening that gas port up until we get a reliable lockback on the last shot. So we're going to take it up to position 3. Okay, we got to the point where the bolt did not lock back, but it did extract and eject, so we're going to go up one more. So it still did not lock back in the last shot, so we're going to go one more. Okay, we did get it to lock back this time. So we're going to try a couple more. It did lock back. So now we have a suppressed setting at setting 5. The Riflespeed gas system is now taking this rifle, which was severely overgassed. It would not cycle, period, with the suppressor on now. Cycle's 100% reliable. Again, gas position 5, as we can see, our ejection pattern is 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, exactly where we need it to be. This rifle, as it came from the factory, when I just put the suppressor on it, would not cycle reliably at all. It was so severely overgassed that I kept having a significant amount of failures to eject. I made a modification with the receiver extension. The original rifles that came had a standard mil-spec receiver extension with a shorter buffer. So I changed it out to a standard AR-10 buffer, which took the full M4 buffer. So I had an H3 in there to increase the weight, the mass on this. It improved it maybe 10%, but still didn't have any kind of reliable cycling. So the next thing was to put an adjustable gas system on it. So we put on the Riflespeed fully adjustable gas system. Completely cured the problem. By putting this adjustable gas system on, we have a perfectly gassed rifle now with cartridge cases going exactly at 3 to 4 o'clock. So that's what it took to get this rifle that was so severely overgassed to the point where it would cycle reliably with a sound suppressor. This was able to shut down that gas port enough so I would get a reliable cycling on suppressed. As this rifle was developed, this wasn't developed to be suppressed the way that it was set up. It was developed to be a standard 308 rifle, unsuppressed, so I was trying to make it do something that it wasn't capable of doing. However, with the Riflespeed adjustment being put on here, this was able to take care of that problem for reliability with this particular rifle. So overall, you buy this as an assembly, as you see right here. You can get them depending on which length knobs that you want. You have four different ones. We have the standard. We have the longer. Well, I actually don't have all of them. There's one of them that I'm missing, but I have 3 of the 4 here. And say you were to buy it and you later wanted to change out and you need a longer one for $90, you can get your adjustable knob that's longer to match your handguard or whatever you're going to be using. Now, Riflespeed does offer another thing that I do particularly like too, was the fact that they will drill and pin for you. You send it to them for $45, they will drill and pin this for you. Again, for me, you guys know I talk about this on a regular basis. Drilling and pinning is key for reliability and durability. These things do move forward. I've seen them move forward. If you do have the dimple that's cut, so you have the dog nose on the adjustment, that works just fine. You lock that in place, that works good. But you want to have some kind of way to secure it for durability and reliability. So overall, this is an excellent product. Any of you guys who do want to calm your rifles down, who do like using adjustable gas valves, this one is excellent. Now, the standard screws, yes, you do have more range of motion because there's no adjustments, there's no clicking points. So you do have more of a range of adjustment with those standard ones. However, 12 positions is excellent. This is going to get you right where you need to be. This is practical. Again, when I had that rifle, I know I start off position 1 suppressed. I take the can off, then I go right to position 8, and I'm good to go. So overall, I think this is probably the best designed gas system that you have for adjustable gas system in the industry at the moment. Now, again, for your average troop, your average person who's shooting suppressed, a 2-position works out really, really well. For the more advanced shooter, I think this is an excellent option. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, even better, share. Thank you.